had a niece that was born 19 years ago with that was missing her 26th chromosome. She needed platelets, and my sister asked me if I would go get tested.
Right after my 17th birthday, I had a soccer tournament one weekend and had fallen and had a concussion and went to the doctor to get checked up. The blood work showed that I had AML, which is an adult type of leukemia.
I had been having knee pains, and we were all like, oh, she's at a growing stage, she's just having growing pains and all that stuff. One time I said, Daddy, it hurts inside my bone.
I was not a perfect match, but if I would stay on the machine, someone else would get my platelets, and then they would find what she needed for her. And I said, sure, no problem.
Immediately after they called back with the results, I was admitted to Coast Children's Hospital.
So they took me to my pediatrician. They were like, it's definitely ALL cancer, it's leukemia.
And then my niece had passed away. So I went back down to Red Cross and asked about it, the program, platelets. And platelets are only good for 3 days. Well, we need donors,
Olivia came into my life, I'm sure, I don't know, probably the first week that I was up at Coast. She was my little ray of hope.
I knew that she could relate to me because she was going through the same thing I was.
I think I had close to 90 different transfusions from the 6 months or more that I was treated of blood and platelet transfusions that if I wouldn't have had them, I definitely wouldn't still be sitting here today.
Yes, we need to go with the blood transfusion, and it was the one transfusion that saved my life.
And so the fact that the Red Cross came up with 90 that were able to match me and keep me going is amazing.
I look at it like this. If I wouldn't have had that blood transfusion, how would it have wound up? It was like blood I needed that was pure, and it didn't have any leukemia and stuff in it, and it didn't have any cancerous stuff. It was like the perfect water.
I needed those transfusions to get through every day.
I think when I give that I'm doing something for her, it makes you feel good. I mean, that hey, it does help.
I don't think people know how much they really truly affect people. We've both overcome the disease, and we've both received the help from Red Cross that we needed at the times, the time in our life that it was very much needed.
If I ever saw a person and that was the person that donated the blood, I'd be like, thank you, you gave me life.
You don't know where you're gonna go. You don't know what's happening. You wanna talk to people, but no one can give you any information. You don't know what to expect. A lot of fear and worries because you don't know how to start all over again.
I think it's nice that the Red Cross is there because it kind of forces people to start thinking about, okay, what are you gonna do? Where do you have a place to stay tonight, and how are you gonna, what kind of money do you need? How much stuff was damaged?
Our parents were separated from us, which made it difficult because we had no communication with them because cell phones were not working. My main focus was to try to comfort my sister as much as I can, to reassure her. I knew at that time that I had to be both mom and dad, but deep down in my heart, I just had this gut feeling that things were not going to be okay, things were not going to be the same.
I've heard several people talk about photographs of their weddings, children's graduations, baby pictures, things like that. Usually it was something that was irreplaceable, something that had personal significance.
You lose a big chunk of your life, your memory, and it's sad because you can't go back in time to pack any of those items. I mean, it's the last thing that you think about when you're trying to save your life.
One of the things when we talked about making a disaster kit, you need food and water and clothing, but you might want to put some of your photographs in there too, in a plastic bag where they'll be safe from water damage and things like that, because you'll be really glad you had those, even if you only have a few.
Trying to reassemble your life, you just do it one day at a time, 1 second, every day. And you learn how to appreciate everything that's around you, whether it's just feeling one single raindrop fall on your face, seeing the sun every morning, seeing new, spring flowers blooming, one, orange leaf. You learn to appreciate things and you find strength from every single one of those things. You try to, you force yourself to give your life meaning again.
Just do it now, After a talk, we always say, even if you don't have every single thing in place, you do have a lot of the things you need. Get a bag or box, something portable, and put things in there. There are lots of things you can do that are free. Sitting down with your family and having a conversation about how are we going to get out of the house if there's a fire, and where are we going to meet if there's an emergency? How are we actually going to get back together to know that everybody's okay? It's not difficult to get prepared. It's just a matter of making that initiative.
The Red Cross has just been this big, giant helping hand that would just kind of go up and scoop you up, and they'll try to lead you to the right places. They nudge you to tell you, hey, we're here for you. This is how you can start. This is what we can do for you. And to this day, I feel comfortable enough to pick up the phone and call them.
Build a kit. Make a plan. Volunteer. Give blood. Today, Red Cross disaster services are free of charge and funded by private contributions.